What's up, YouTube? I'm Alex Carpenter, and today I wanted to talk to you a little bit about animating box shadows. This is something that became popular around the time that material design came out, and they had their cards, and whenever you hover over them, you see the animation of a box shadow, similar to what you can see here when I'm hovering over this element. What we're going to try and do is right now this element is animating just the box shadow property, and if we know anything about animating things on the web with regards to CSS, we want to stick to transforms and opacities. So we're going to see about how we can go about refactoring this code a little bit to simply animate just the transform or opacity of the element or of the box shadow. So what we're going to do is hop over into our code here. In my HTML, I just have two divs with class of card and then simply 1 and 2 just to distinguish between the two of them. So we can see here on my one element, I have a box shadow that gets placed on when we hover the element, and then I'm just animating that property here. So we're going to start by targeting the second element. And the way we are going to go about doing this is using a before element on that, which is going to be absolutely positioned to fit the height and width of our containing element. So we'll just do position absolute. I'm just going to quickly write all the stuff that we need to get this positioned correctly. Height 100%, and then I'm just going to grab this box shadow and drop it here. So now we should see when I go back to the browser, we can see we're getting that here. And next thing I want to do is just do a z index -1. So now you can see what we got when we hover this element. It should look very similar to what we have over here. So next we want to start by hiding that box shadow by default. So what we can do is just simply do an opacity of 0 on that element. So now we don't have it by default, but when we hover over that card, we want to show that. So we'll do 2 hover, and we'll want to target the before, and then we can do opacity of 1. And then lastly, let's just add a quick transition. We'll grab this one here and drop that down there, and we are going to be transitioning. Let's just do all because we'll have a couple properties on there. So now we can see we have that showing on hover. Next thing we can do, now that this is on a separate layer using the before element, we can do some cool things in terms of transforming it. So we can do a transform scale, and we'll just start by making it 0.75 of its original size. And then when we hover it, we'll just do a transform of none on that. So now when we reload this page, we got a little bit nicer. It's actually growing, and then also the opacity is changing as well. And we can see that a little bit easier if I go up here and let's just comment this out so we can see what's happening. So we can see that element is growing as well as having the opacity change to full, so it shows up for us. So that smooths things out a little bit in comparison to this hover that we have over here. Lastly, let's toggle this back on for a quick second. We're going to open up our dev tools here, and I'll just close this to show you how we get to this part. But we'll go over here to this customize and control dev tools here. And what we're looking for is go to the more tools, and then we're going to hit the rendering tab here. So this should open up another tab down here at the bottom. And what we want to do is turn on paint flashing. So what this does is highlights any part of the page that gets repainted anytime we're moving around within our web page. So you can see when we hover over this first element, when we go hover it and then go off of it, we can see what is getting repainted around it. So next, when we hover over our new setup, we can see quite a bit's getting repainted, which isn't good. This is actually worse than what we were seeing over here. So the last thing we need to do to ensure that this transitions performantly is add our hint to our browser that this is going to change. So we want to do a will change transform on our before element. So now when we reload this page, we still have the paint flashing enabled. We can see whenever I hover over this now, nothing is getting repainted. We actually put that before element on its own layer, so the browser knows that this is going to be animating. So everything is smooth, and we're animating stuff that the browser can animate well. So our transform and opacity, and we're not animating the box shadow property at all. If you found that helpful, let me know in the comments below, and thanks for watching.